Hey, what's up with it, y'all? It's the world's freshest, aka DJ Fresh, DJ Fresh, DJ Fresh, chilling with Thizzler. Make sure you subscribe below. So this is what I did. So I used to do these videos called montage videos, right? Montage videos are videos where when you're filming, it's just like it can be it's no words basically. So it's just music to whatever footage of you going across the bridge or something like that. There's no real like direction of subject. I used to do a lot of my beats. I'll go out filming, and then I'll come home and get an iMovie and put a beat under it, and I would make a bunch of those. So that's because I used to do a lot of video editing too. So then I did that for, I don't know, maybe a couple years. I used to go to Expressions, and I met, before I met F.A.B though, there was another artist called New Moon. They were down with like, shit, like, not necessarily down, but they came up with like the whole Living Legend kind of circuit, like that type of artist, Hyro. I was working with them, cat named Architect and Planet Asia, all them type of artists, whatever. I was kind of like, just getting my feet wet with them, nothing really concrete. But once I went to Expression, I forget how I met F.A.B. I met F.A.B. I met F.A.B. at I met him. This is when Bone Crusher was out. Remember Bone Crusher? I Ain't Never Scared. Yeah, this is around that time. And then, remember when 3 Times Crazy? They had an album called they had a group called the Dope Game. Remember the Dope Game? It was Keek, B.A., I think Huss, and I can't remember who the other two was. But anyway, it was like around that time. Mac Dre was gone. You know what I mean? Was Mac Dre gone yet? He might have still been around. But anyways, I met F.A.B at like an industry type mixer thing. Bone Crusher was there, you know what I'm saying? Slum Village was there, and he needed somebody to do like some video editing for him at the time. And then so I was at Expression, and he met me at Expression like probably a few weeks later or something. And then he gave me all his tapes. He gave me all his VHS tapes, right? It's crazy, VHS tapes. Camcorder tapes to edit him a DVD. So we swapped, basically. I did that for him, the Freestyle King, and then he did a Tonight Show for me. So we had a swap, and that was the first Tonight Show. I was there for music. But when at the time, the first class they made you do was like videographer or whatever, doing videos and shit like that. Like you got to choose. Oh yeah, because we had to score something. So they gave us like some scenes that we picked from a famous movie that was already out, and took the music out, and we had to redo the music. You know what I'm saying? I was doing beats in surround sound. Shit sound tight. I was scoring in surround sound and shit like that. And then I made a scary movie. We had to make a type of movie you could do it was like a short film. My short film was a horror movie. It was terrible. After I got off my second tour with Nas, I had some bread, you know what I'm saying? I got to a point where I was like doing mixtapes, regular mixtapes, like playing other people's songs. And I got to a point where I was like, damn, like that shit, I started looking at it like stock, kind of, you know? Like, you can buy something with stock 10 years ago, 10 years later you can still get paid for it. It might be big, it might be small, but you still gonna get something for it, right? As long as it's a good stock. I started looking at like my output like that, cause like all the mixtapes I was doing, like the life of it wasn't too long. the life was short, you know what I mean? And it got even shorter as Napster was coming out at the time, and LimeWire, and I couldn't really like, I couldn't sell it online. It was like more of a hand-to-hand thing, you know what I'm saying? All the stores was like cracking down on selling them type of mixtapes because they was catching lawsuits and, you know, all kind of shit like that. You know what I mean? The DJ Drama was getting hit by the feds for doing shit like that, right? So I started doing production. Once I realized that some of my favorite songs were samples, that opened my mind up, because I'm like, oh, okay. Because when you're young, you hear these songs, you think that like it's an actual band. You don't even question how it's made. You just enjoy it for what it is, right? So once I realized that a lot of those songs were sampled, and like I told you earlier, my dad was a DJ. You know, all my family kept all their records. A lot of families sold their records. When CDs came out, a lot of families sold their records. They got rid of a lot of their records when CDs came out. My family kept all those records, right? So I had generations of records, and now I'm like digging for samples. I'm hearing some of my favorite songs, like, oh, what? That's a sample? But I'm also hearing like, ooh, that would sound tight if I looped that, da 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 da. So that was kind of like my introduction into transitioning from being a DJ. I mean, I'm always a DJ, but I was not even transition, but just the growth from growing from just being a DJ into now like trying to produce records or beats or whatever. Actually, I started on analog. I had something called the EPS 16 Plus. That was a popular sampler back in the day. That same sample was used to make 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang Clan. A lot of people use that. But that was my first sampler. You only had like 16 seconds of sample time or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like even that phrase, sample time, is like, that's old school shit. Like, what is sample time? So those of y'all don't know what sample time is, basically like, it was, the machine would only be capable of recording a certain amount of time of the sample. So you would get maybe 15 seconds to sample whatever you want. And then after that, you ain't got no more sample time. Now you can sample a whole fucking song like that. It's nothing, multiple songs, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, see, I love that now, but I love it because I came from being able to only do 15, 30 seconds. So I appreciate it a little bit different than somebody who don't really know the struggle like that. We used to have to speed the song up to get more of the song and then slow it down. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Man, not to sound like I say, like I embrace my OG-ness, first of all. I love being an OG, but I'm not one of them angry ass. I'm a young OG, but I ain't one of them angry ass niggas. You know what I mean? There's a lot of angry OGs like that out there. But just like how I used to be more about the album and not just the song. But to be fair, like in the 1940s, it used to be about the single because the 12-inch records wasn't out yet. It was a very expensive thing to do. You know what I mean? So they used to have the 45, the 45s, you know, the smaller records. So I kind of see the correlation between that and now, but it just used to be more about the album and the body of work. I feel so, and I mean, it's not. I mean, you know, too much of anything is not good for you, right? You know what I'm saying? So that also it's more so about what's. It's really not about what's dope. It's more about if it's popular or not. I guarantee a lot of the shit that's so popular and shit, if it wasn't popular, they wouldn't be like, oh, it's dope. But because it's popular, people gonna say it's dope. Or people gonna find the dopeness in it if it's not. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is dope. Like, it's very hard to say something that's not dope these days without being perceived as, oh, you a hater, or woo, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even say something is not tight. but some shit is just not tight. You gotta have not tight shit to have tight shit, right? Yeah, so, but not everything that's popular is tight. You know, just cause, so I would say that. But I do like how easy it is to get it's way easier now to get your music out there. You just got to be willing to work hard for 10 years, harder than anybody else, consistently and persistently. People are lazy though. You know what I mean? But if you can work harder than everybody else for 10 years, more consistent and persistent than everybody else, what's gonna happen is like the people gonna be paying attention to you all this time. So when year 5 come around, people gonna start dropping off. You still going. When year 7 come around, more people dropped off. You still going. So now you ahead of the curve because you've been pushing your brand and your name for 7+ years. So by the time you get to 10 years, you gonna be at the top as long as you didn't stop and you was just keeping it lit. You know what I'm saying? Look at y'all, just like y'all about 10 in, right? There you go, you know what I mean? So, but when y'all first started though, it might have been about, I don't know, fucking World Star or whatever else is out there. Especially when you're doing your own lane. When you're doing your own lane, like I said last time, as long as you stay in it, as long as you're gonna stay in it. Because you doing your own shit. I saw how Andre Nicotine was like, just keep the store open. Just keep the store open. And that shit is hella true. Just like, just keep it going. So yeah, like that, you know, it's a lot of little different things. I feel like it's much easier now to be successful in this business than it once was, because there's no more gatekeepers like that, so to say. You know what I'm saying? It was much more, I would say, political, and you know, one person might be able to shut your whole operation down back then, you know, man, just because, you know, they didn't like you or something, you know what I mean? Like nowadays, like, you know, you can do what you can. If that door won't open, there's another door, you know what I mean? Yeah. So.
The internet just made it hella easy.
Yeah, the internet made it hella easy. I mean, you know, it's yin and yang, it's always pros and cons, but for me, the glass is always half full, not half empty, you know what I'm saying? I always try to approach the game like that.